We're spinning up a separate post for today's update because we've run out of characters on yesterday's, which you can check out here. Thursday, December 4th, 5 p.m. UTC. Yesterday wasn't as smooth sailing as we'd hoped. We've been thoroughly reviewing your feedback, and as we said last night, we're now feeling more confident in what specific changes we'd like to make. To be clear, we're aiming for these changes to go live in-game tomorrow, Friday, December 5th, as early as possible, but we may need some additional time depending on your feedback and how internal testing goes. Before we get into specifics, an apology is in order. Over the last week, we spent a great deal of time reviewing XP rates and how players have been interacting with scaling. Truthfully, we went into this week's update with good intentions. The changes seemed fair on paper, and while we knew they weren't going to be popular, they made sense to us based on the data we have available. It's fair to say we missed the mark on a number of those fronts, which left many happy sailors adrift. We don't always get it right, and we're happy to admit when this is the case. Bro, the sheer amount of times I have read this in a news post, it's fair to say we missed the mark. We're happy to admit when we're wrong. The amount of times I've had to read that in a news post is fucking hilarious. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think in my 8 years of playing RuneScape, I've probably read that 150 times. Like, not even kidding. How do they so frequently fuck it up so bad? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. We're hoping the changes announced today will help correct course, while still allowing us the ability to fine-tune some of the areas we believe are over or underperforming relative to other parts of the skill. Let's kick things off with what we feel your biggest issues are so we can make sure that we're all on the same page, or you can let us know if we're missing something major. In no particular order, here are some of the problems we're looking to solve. The nerf to sorting XP was too severe. While this was initially intended to weaken the output of extremely AFK method, it also punishes players who are salvaging somewhat actively, meaning jumping on the hook themselves, sorting through their salvage, etc. Additionally, the rarity of the dragon cannon barrel is a contributing factor to people wanting to sort. With iron sealing in particular, they have to sort, but now getting considerable lower outputs despite putting in the same effort. Salvaging feels worse. The salvage cycle got slower, crewmates got slower, the changes to hotspots resulted in reduced uptime for actively salvaging. All of these compounded to change the feel of salvaging considerably. Players putting in maximum effort at the Gwyneth Glide received no conciliatory XP. These players were putting in the same level of effort at the highest effort possible for the skill and receiving significantly reduced XP. The Crystal Extractor still feels mandatory, but gives less for the mandatory engagement. While harvesting from the extractor gives less XP before, it's still high enough XP drop that it's always worth doing. Yup. Additionally to this, many players felt more obligated to engage with it and try and bolster XP rates closer to what they were getting before. Crazy. Sailing XP for yesterday was down 24%. It's the way they run their internal processes for QL updates. Definitely doesn't get reviewed as much as other updates. It's crazy, right? It's actually crazy. Here's what we're planning on doing. Increase the number of active shipwrecks by 1 at each hotspot. This should improve uptime for players salvaging, meaning players feel less compelled to hop worlds or feel less like they're sitting around waiting for a wreck to spawn for the AFK gains. This was an unintended side effect of yesterday's change. Our intent here was to help with the AFK time rather than reduce it further. Restore sorting XP to pre-nerf levels. Okay. Good start. Good start. If the rest of this news post is just restoring everything to what it was before, good job. Retain increased salvaging success chance from this week's game. Increased salvaging success. Wow. So even better. Restore the player's salvaging rate back to 4 ticks from 5 ticks. This means you'll be salvaging 20% faster than before, so long as you're on the hook yourself. As we are also keep increased success. Yo, Eric coming in with a 10 gifties. Yo, Eric. Thank you very much for the 10 fucking zifties, brother. Appreciate you. What a start to the day. I can end stream now. I don't even need a stream. I don't even need to do. I'm done. Thanks, guys. Take it easy. Okay. As we're also keeping increased success chance added with this week's update, this should result in a nice increase to XP gained when self-salvaging. Okay. Reduce the crew's XP modifier for salvaging. This was a very common suggestion from players on how to how we move the more extreme AFK methods into a healthier spot without harming the experience of players salvaging themselves. So we're looking to explore this further. Level 4 deck handiness XP from 70 to 30. Level 3 deck handiness XP from 60 to 30. Okay. Add a bonus 1,250 XP upon completing a lap of the Marlin Gwyneth Glide. The intent here is to keep top-end XP rates roughly stable and in line with what they were before, since many players felt they were appropriately rewarded for their effort required. This is good, as long as it's the time, you know? A bonus 1,250 XP if you complete it in time. You know what I'm saying? Because then you're rewarded for higher effort. Notably absent from this list is the Crystal Extractor. We feel as though one of the biggest problems with our changes yesterday is that we're pulling way too many levers at once, which led to some changes adding up to more than the sum of their parts and having a much higher impact than if we'd taken a more gradual approach. With that in mind, we want to see where the dust settles and make sure the base XP offered by various methods is in a healthier place before we consider any further changes. We've had some targets in mind for XP rates of the various methods impacted by yesterday's changes, but it's worth noting that no matter how many spreadsheets we've got modeling sailing's training methods, there are always aspects that we can't properly capture. There's always a chance that our theoretical values don't reflect what players obtain in game, nor do they reflect how the game feels to play, even if numbers look good on paper. We're literally QA testers. How can you even write this? We're literally QA testers. Hey, listen, we can't make changes to the XP rates until you guys play it in game and tell us what the XP rates are for us. Cause we can't test it ourselves. Are you fucking kidding me? So retarded, bro. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean we won't know? Try it. Have someone play it. What do you mean? Holy fuck. Have one person do the Gwyneth Glide all day. Have one person salvage all day. Have one person do cargo all day. Fuck. This is insane. How are we QA testers? Crazy idea, just have internal bots. Wouldn't that be fucking insane? Like, good morning, Goblet. How are we, beast? God, this is not what I wanted to read first thing in the morning. This is pissing me off, bro. This is not how you start your day. Spreadsheet balancing is never an exact science, but to try and give you some idea of what we expect, the table below compares our predicted XP for pre-output in yesterday's updates and where we expected they'll wind up after this batch. Note, these numbers do not take into account the changes to the Crystal Extractor. So, what? Right, okay, so they were off. They were off by 10% is what they were saying. Or they were off by 20% in some cases. Crazy. Okay, so they pre-adjustment to 85 and now back to 100. Before we sign off, we'd just like to thank you for all the feedback so far. Please continue to let us know what you think. Also, it's important we mention that we are aware of there are other aspects of sailing that we need to address, some of which are mentioned in this blog, with particular attention being drawn to the recently shared drop rates and whether or not they feel fair from a character perspective. While we are yet to have these conversations, our focus has primarily been on XP rates. We have investigated reports from players that some in-game drop rates appear to be drastically more common than figures we presented in this blog. We can confirm that a variety of items are bugged, causing them to drop more frequently than intended. After discussing internally, we've opted to not make changes. Okay. Look, guys, I'm being fucking really harsh here, all right? And the J-mods that are in charge of this, just to be very clear, are not at fault, okay? It's the higher-ups. They're obviously not giving them the fucking resources that they need to be able to put out a good update that is polished and perfected. They obviously do not have the resources. So don't go at the fucking J-mods that are doing this update. We need to be emailing the CEO. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to be emailing the CEO because how? How can they possibly say this? Like, I cannot believe this is a fucking thing that they can say. You have to get in game before we can figure out what the XP rates are. Why?